Why do you think things ended the way they did with Dez and the Cowboys?
It's just the evolution of life that takes place. It doesn't matter who you are. Eventually your career is going to move on from somewhere, and it just happens. And, I think eventually he'll get somewhere.
I think people were surprised. They thought, once a Cowboy, always a Cowboy kind of a thing.
No, I agree with that. But listen, Jerry is loyal, to all the players who play for him, especially people who have done well for him. And that's why you love him as an owner, because you feel like he really does love what you did for him. There's a coldness to the NFL. There's a coldness to just moving on from players that you see all the time. And in professional sports, that's the difficult part, is when you're in it as a player, you always think that coldness will never affect you, but in reality it does. Jerry has a very unique ability to make it feel personally like he cares for you, he's rooting for you, and I love that. So as a fan, you have that same investment in these players. I have it when I rooted for all my favorite players, and I felt like they would never go away. Michael Jordan would never play for the Wizards. Right. And then one day he does, and you're like, oh, it happens. It's just part of sports. And
what do you think the best place for him to go would be?
You can go anywhere. I mean, to a great quarterback, for any receiver, they don't have the ball in their hands. They need help.
For sure.
And if you get with someone good, then some receivers are going to have a much better career than somebody else who's probably more talented but with a lesser quarterback.
Is the preseason too long?
I think eventually they will go to 2 games. I just don't think things like that always take something else. In other words, if they're going to do that, the owners are going to get a game or 2 in the regular season. So,
are you in favor of Jerry's proposal of 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games?
No, I would be indifferent. As a player, I really didn't care. Football's football. You play until there's no more football. And I think that you're going to see less and less players playing in the preseason if there's 4 preseason games as the years go by. It's funny because in college they don't have any preseason games and they both show up. Now you need to evaluate young players, and so you want them to play more in the preseason. No one gives you anything special for winning this preseason game.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to risk your players, but there's a fine line. It's like, do they really improve and get ready for the regular season? Are they better on day 1 in the regular season because of all this time? That's what would be the part I'd like to find data on, I guess.
I think everybody who is a fan and has seen you in the booth is thinking, God, he'd be good as a coach, right? And I know that this is a kid's family thing. This is a work-life balance thing for you right now.
But you're right. I mean, you've done your homework before any of these questions, and you just are pretty impressive here. She heard what I said and kind of changed and went off path, started with new questions. But you're right. It is more about the actual lifestyle right now. I think that there's a chance one day I would get into that, field and coach, or some capacity of helping a football team try and win a championship. But right now, it's just not time. I've got 3 young boys. They're 6, 4, and 1. When you go into coaching, you're committed, and I would never do something that matters halfway. And if I do that, you're gonna want to win, and you're gonna want to give everything you got for it. So right now, I'd rather give all that time to those boys and the family, because they're gonna grow up real fast, and you're gonna look back one day and be like, I could have made the choice either way. It just seems selfish, really, right now to make that choice to go do that when they are so excited for Dad to come home and do nothing but play and hang out and.
But you have the itch, right? Like kind of Gruden had the itch when he was in the booth, and you could tell he wanted to be out there, sort of.
Yeah, I think you always want to be in the mix, but I have that a little bit right now with, being an analyst and playing golf. I scratched that competitive itch that I thought was going to be the hardest part about retirement. That was going to be my biggest issue. I knew I was going to be okay without the locker room and the stuff that everyone misses, but the competitive part was going to be the toughest. And shockingly, golf and trying to get really good and trying to be the best analyst you can be, they've kind of taken that role, and I haven't really looked back and haven't regretted it one day, which is kind of nice, because I thought there's a chance that I might.